uh, oh, every one of these episodes. So I edit these episodes, and every one of these episodes starts with me going. So it's like I can't help myself. Hey, welcome! It's the Goblins Pockets.
That's how we should start.
You know it, a D&D podcast where we tell you things that you should buy, and we review them, and you should listen to them, and we just tell you about things that we like as people that like to play D&D. These are things we like. You might like them too. Go check them out. How long can I make this intro? I'm Ian.
It's the longest.
I
Sam
know,
Riegel.
right? Yeah. How about you? Who are you?
I'm Monica. And who are you?
I'm still Ian.
You're still Ian.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, welcome to this week's episode.
Welcome.
Yeah, it's going to be a show and tell where we both tell you something fun that we found in the last few weeks. But before we do that, Monica.
Yes, I've been waiting for this moment. Wait, let me just.
I know.
Just take it in. Yep.
Critical Role Exandria Limited Calamity was fantastic. It was so good.
Yeah.
I mean,
feels as good as I thought it would.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't think I ever thought it was gonna be bad. And if I think about like the cast members, they are all people that I love listening to. Like, they are great players. Of the Critical Role crews, they're some of the best. Like, for a fun, action-packed sort of game, they are good. And man, Lou Wilson's good. He really is. Like, I remember watching him on Fantasy High when he was like kind of cutting his teeth on D&D, and yeah, God, he's entertaining to listen to.
He's so entertaining. His really character is just
strong.
Such a strong character.
Yeah. So yeah, I know we've done like, this is the third episode.
This is the third episode
now. But you know, it's a hot topic if you're listening to these kind of as they come out. And if you're not, if this is a year or two after these have come out, go find it.
Yeah, definitely. This is worth digging the archive for.
Yeah, it's
really
like
good.
20 hours of amazing content. So
but tell me, I'm very curious because you and I have very different things that we love about D&D podcasts and content. Like, we just have different taste, which is why this podcast works so well. What is the thing that caught your attention? What is the thing that made you say like,
yeah,
oh, man,
well, I'm not going to get into it. I'm not going to go too big on it.
Just a little bit. Just
effectively, this is like the D&D equivalent of a movie. I know it's 20 hours, but 20 hours in D&D
fucking long movie
is not much. 20 hours of D&D content is, this is, you could turn this into a movie in no problem. So this is the equivalent of a short run D&D podcast. It's just great example. It's not a fantastic example of how to run your home games. It's not that at all, but it is a really entertaining thing. So yes, go listen to our other podcast where Monica waxes lyrical about it. That, you know,
and now I feel justified.
It gets like an 18 or a 19 from me.
It's
brilliant, really good.
I feel justified now.
How about you? How are you? How are you doing?
I am good. I am fighting the heat. You will notice that I'm not as put together as I usually am for our recordings because I feel like makeup would literally make my face melt off of my
melting down your face.
So yeah, I was just literally I can't even fathom the idea of having makeup on my face. So I hear it's really warm, so I apologize if at some point I just space out. It's just my brain trying to conserve energy and not make me collapse where I'm standing. Yeah, I'm a bit overly dramatic. However, it is weirdly hot for this time of year, but I'm good. I've been enjoying my birthday present because it was my birthday recently. We're both, birthday babies. And it's been a very good week. How about you?
Well, I just told you, it's just been Exandria. Every bit of it's
lot. Been Exandria. I'm just binging 20 hours.
Yeah, it is. It's like when you're free time. That's what I've been doing. So yeah, I did actually play D&D last night. We had our session 0, which was successful.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Everyone created their characters. We laid down some lore. I got the players very involved in the thing. They were coming up with some stuff. They've been sent. There's a bit of homework. They've got names from gods for me. That sort of thing. So yeah, it's shaping up to be a very good collaborative campaign, and I'm excited to play our first proper session. But yeah.
So you're not planning to do a Brennan and give like 70 pages of back lore and stuff to the players and be like, study.
I asked for everyone's backstory, and it had to be 2 or 3 sentences tops. So yeah,
Nice.
it's small scale, but look, I've got one of these 20-sided
Oh man,
polyhedral
I
things.
need to go get mine out.
Oh,
Just bear with me, because
classic.
it's not. I'm in the middle of a move, Ian. Get over yourself. Everything is
Yeah.
loosey goosey right now. Give me a sec.
The amount you've got, I'm surprised they're not just like dotted around the house. This is what we get. And if anybody's wondering why it's so hot where Monica is, I'm based in the UK, and Monica is based in Italy, just outside Milan. So I think she was saying it's like 32, 33 degrees there, whereas here it's like 17. So that's why I look so clean. And Monica's a sweaty mess. So,
Yeah, I've just come in for the like last bit of that, and I'm sure you were just telling me how amazing I am as a person.
yes,
I'm sure.
very much so.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna win today. Watch this.
Let's do it. Let's do it. 3, 2.
I've done it already.
Oh God, yeah, no.
What'd you get?
3.
I got an
3.
8. Yes. This is it. My reign.
The
So what's that?
saddest win.
Yes. Single digit win. I think that's 4-1 now or something like that.
I feel like you deserved it. I would have fudged it otherwise, but yeah, no, I've got definitely a 3. I've got a 3.
I know you couldn't lie to me.
I know, I'm a terrible liar.
Okay, so
what are you going to tell me about today?
I'm going to tell you a little something today. So as I kind of mentioned, I am DMing a campaign, and I'm in the early part of it, where I'm coming up with all sorts of ideas and that sort of thing. So I thought, do you know what? Let's reach out, and we asked some of our followers on Instagram, what's worth reviewing, what do you use for your campaign management, and a few recommended World Anvil. So this week I will be reviewing World Anvil.
Okay, I've heard of it before,
yeah,
but I have never tried it.
It is. It's not specifically D&D, though. When you set up your account, you can say D&D, and then it will kind of create some templates for you. But you can use it for all sorts of TTRPGs, and they also recommend using it for just fiction writing. Like if you are creating worlds within your books, you're writing the next Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings, and you've got a world idea that you need to get everything
very like low bar, Lord of the Rings,
shoot for the stars. And World Anvil is a way of organizing all of this stuff. So in a nutshell, World Anvil is a way of organizing all that stuff that's in your head, that's all over the place. And the idea is that you organize, categorize, and have it all easily accessible to you. And in the case of D&D players, your players too. So your players can sign up to your account and follow you, and then they would have access to certain aspects of World Anvil. For instance, I created a few what they call articles, which are just things you can get into about some variant backgrounds for player character creation, some variant races. There's some NPCs that they encountered during our world building session. So a bit of lore, that kind of thing, and it's some flora and fauna, and it's all kind of categorized thus. So it is a very in-depth tool. You can do a lot with it. One of the nice features is it's got a map feature where you upload, for instance, a world map, and then you can drop pins on it, and you can move those pins around, name them. So last night, one of the things we were doing was we had it up on the TV and in my lounge, and a couple of characters are like, oh yeah, no, I think this is my background. I was like, okay, cool, where'd you come from on the world map? And I had them like pick islands that are currently unnamed, and they would pick an island and say, I'm from this island. I'd be like, what's it like? Oh, it's quite barren, blah, blah, blah. And then they got to name it. So they now have ownership over these kind of areas that they're from. So one's from an island, one's from some mountains, another one from here. And it's like, oh, there's a river here. That's a good place to put a big city. It's like, yeah, cool. So you're from, that's where you guys are based. So it's a nice way of organizing it. Prior to using World Anvil, I was a OneNote user. which is very much just a blank notebook that you fill in as you go. You paste in links and
I
all
was
that
going
sort
to
of
say
thing.
there's no organization there. It's just like
No,
you're the one organizing the
you're the
notes.
one organizing it. Yeah. And maybe this is the control freak in me, but I think it's one of the biggest issues that I've had to date with World Anvil is there is a structure to it that I can't seem to grasp. So I'm going to get into this, and I've probably spent about, I'd say about 10 to 12 hours on World Anvil at this point.
Which is a decent chunk of time to create
Yeah,
your, a
yeah.
little bit of a background.
And the way it works basically is you've got a few different categories. You've got kind of the player handbook is one, call it a note, like a notebook. And then you've got another one, which is your kind of world codex, which is lore and all this sort of thing. And then you also have your notes, which are kind of just for the DM. And that's too many. It's lots of things for me anyway. I'm finding
it feels unnecessary.
Yeah, well, so for the players, they would visit my dashboard, so it's a bit like a home page, which is quite nice. But even just the way that this is laid out is a bit. There's a lot going on. To know where to click to look for things, you definitely need somebody to walk you through where to find things. It's all just, and there are some things I can't quite work out how to remove things that you don't want.
Oh no.
So there are all these categories of things that I'm like, this is irrelevant, I don't need this, but I can't get rid of it. So that my users, my players are opening them up and just opening folder, another folder deep into that,
just to check if there's anything.
And there's nothing in there. So maybe that's just down to my inexperience.
But you're not like,
I'm not. Okay,
you've been around the block a few times in terms of like management softwares. Like if it's not super intuitive to you, it's probably not super intuitive to anyone.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a graphic designer and front end developer, and it tested my patience quite a lot. There's a lot of, so when you create an article, so you'd say, okay, I want to write an article for an NPC that I'm adding in. So you go into your kind of categories, and then you kind of find the folder that you want it to know, or you just create it, and then you have to say what kind of template it's going to be, and there are dozens. So you scroll through this list to try and find NPC or something similar to what your NPC is quite easy, but some of the other ones, so you find that, and that gives you some extra categories of things you can do. And before you know it, you're effectively building a mini web page for what is effectively just a bit of chat about. You want some words and maybe a picture of a guy that they've encountered.
You don't want to describe the life story and stat block and abilities and.
I think for me, I've got this D&D podcast. I'm at college. I've got work. Like I've got so much going on that having to learn another way of organizing it. It's been a bit overwhelming for me.
Seems it's just too much hard work for what you're getting out of it.
Yeah, I think if you were doing something huge, then this is brilliant. Like honestly, I could see somebody like a J.R. Tolkien of this day being like, this is fucking awesome. Like I've got because he went hard on the amount of content he created. This would be fucking perfect. One of the things in it is a timeline as well, which I've not had to use, but it's literally like, yeah, sweet, a nice timeline where you put a year in, so year 0, boom, and you put all the details, and then so your players can go through it and they can scroll through it as a timeline, which is like dope if you've got something that spans over eras. Like if you took Critical Role into World Anvil and you're like, right, we've got
that would be mind-blowing.
We've got Calamity at the top, and then we've got the most current like campaigns all the way down here, and like everything that's gone, that it looks sick, like, and it'd be really useful for your players. But man, is it a lot of work for the DM. And once you've invited your players, they can actually add to it too. So one of my players created a character and put their backstory, and they created a little article for them. I should have asked them how they got on with it.
But that's okay. We can because I also plan. I'm trying to plan a campaign, so I'm thinking of like dipping my toes in all of these these tools, I would say. However, it's really interesting your perspective of saying, I like the idea of it. Like the idea is you organize things in a much clearer way, in a way that is also better understood by your players. But it seems to end up doing quite the opposite, which is your players can contribute only if they're really savvy, because I'm guessing this guy is probably quite,
I mean,
you know,
it's not
tech
overly
savvy.
difficult. And I will say the creators have made some fantastic YouTube videos on how to use it. It's a pretty steep learning curve. I think I'll say one more negative thing before I launch into like a few minutes about who I think it's good for. The other thing is I'm on the free
free version.
Ads. It's a website and it's full of ads. And fuck, as a player, it is annoying. So if I sent this link out to I sent them like a character questionnaire, some questions to ask your player, like as you're creating them to get a better feel for who they are. And you open up the link on your phone or whatever, and there's just a bottom ad and a top ad and shit everywhere. So there's a lot of that. So if you don't pay, you're going to get hammered with ads. Every page has got a massive banner at the top, which is 40% off the page, that, you know, things like that. It's so much of the real estate on your screen is taken up by ads and other things. So the free is not great.
And how expensive is the paid version? Do you remember this?
I don't. Maybe you could pull it up for me whilst I'm looking.
Yeah, of course I can.
That would be great.
Please tell me more about the negatives or maybe positives.
This is it. Well, we try and spend 15 minutes on each of these. So I've got a few minutes left for who I think is it. So basically, if you like templates and because it is good at that, it makes you think about things you perhaps didn't consider, like timelines and plants and religions and all these sorts of things that you might know. There is some great framework here. There's some great templates to fill in. So I would say if you feel you need those prompts, this is for you. If you are, I would say, a seasoned DM, I wouldn't say this is a good tool for somebody about to create their first campaign unless they envision themselves going, or they've already got a set of players who are signed up for years-long campaign. If you're running a one-shot, this is way over the top. You're going to waste a lot of time just getting to know it. If you're going to be running something for a long time and you're just dipping in every couple of weeks just to top it up with content, this is really good. It's got good tools for taking notes and keeping on top of things. And the other thing is it has the potential to be a great resource for your players. Now, some of you might be sat at home just screaming into the mic, why don't you use D&D Beyond's campaign feature? And I imagine there's some stuff in there that's fantastic. I don't have experience of it. I don't pay for D&D.
I think these are quite different things, though.
Okay.
From my like super basic understanding of D&D Beyond campaign and World Anvil was also kind of marketed, like you say, to storytellers, like people who are just trying to write a book, as you're saying, like they want to be the next, fantasy guru of the century. Then D&D Beyond does not work at all.
For
like
sure.
As you say, it's a completely, I feel the experience is probably very, very different from what you're.
And this is it. It has so much potential. It is not user friendly. It is not intuitive. It is work. But I think the final output, if you put in the time, if you know you're about to start, if you're going to start a campaign in 6 months' time, maybe you're playing in a campaign and you're like,
you want to be like, really.
Yeah, I think if you were a player that was about to become a DM in 3, 4, 5 months time, and you're like, I've got this idea and I can't wait for my turn to be the DM, or you're in this stressful game where you're like, I need to create my own thing. Like, you could sit on this for months in advance and do it. I know my campaign is starting and I've got a few weeks to get down some lore and some bits and bobs and empty my brain a bit. This has not been fun for me using this tool.
The process is too slow.
Yeah, it is. I will probably go back to OneNote. I will probably copy and paste everything I've done in this, create similar categories in OneNote and share that OneNote document with my players. like I usually do, because it's easy to use and you can drag and drop things and you don't have ads and that sort of stuff.
Which are really annoying. Speaking of which,
yeah, go ahead.
I found the pricing options, and let me tell you, it's not cheap. The yearly subscription of the master level, which is the lowest level you can get, which has like a number of worlds, like 10 worlds. It has a limited number of stuff that you can do on maps.
Yeah, articles is one of the things, because on the free one you're restricted to, I think, 100 articles or something like that.
20 slash 175, which
it's not very much. It's not very
much. And in this case, it has unlimited articles and some stuff that you can do on maps, and 2 gigabytes of storage is 66 euros a year, which is not little.
I will say there are always discount codes out. Even on the website at the moment, there's 40% off of that.
Okay. So yeah, plus there is like this, there's this pay 9 months, get a whole year. However, there are 2 other versions. This sounds a lot like a D&D Beyond type thing when we were discussing the lengths that people go to like get stuff. There is the Grand Master level, which is unlimited worlds and gives you like a better range of things you can do with maps, and that's 118 euros a year.
Damn.
And then the Sage, which is like for professionals and specialists, which has unlimited everything and 10 gigabytes of storage and like, I don't know, a gazillion subscriber stuff. Like it's just the pimped out version of this like super how do I say, like amazing, super, has all the things, trimmings. It is 362 euros a year.
Yeah. So unless you're Brandon Sanderson, don't fuck with that sort of stuff. You know, if you're a player listening to this listen to this podcast, and you've got DMs that have been thinking about it, I would send them this episode and just let them have a think about it. This is just my opinion. I've run quite a few campaigns at this time. I tend to go pretty hard on lore and background. I don't always do much in the way of exposition. Like, I don't tell my players all of it, but I know what's going on. So when they ask a question, I can do informed improvisation. So I do write a lot of stuff and I have a lot of ideas. This is too much for me. It's too big. So if I had to score this out of 20, I'd give it an 11. I think
harsh, but fair.
Yeah, it's not on the downward slope. It's not a single digits. It's a good tool. It just is a massive time investment that I currently don't have the time for, and it's also potentially a financial investment in terms of you know what but it could yield fantastic results. I'm sure there are some people out there who use World Anvil and love it. And feel free to give us your, if you write in, let us know. We will tell the people so we can give them some more.
Yeah, we're really interested in your opinions, guys. Like these are our perspectives, but we're also really interested in finding people who have a different perspective from us, because that's how we use these tools, for example. But maybe you found a way that works really well for you in your campaign. Then we really want to know about it. So let us know, email us, DM us, whatever. We are.
And at the end of the day, it's free to try. If you've listened to me and you're like, some of the good points you've raised do seem quite good, go give it a go. Like, honestly, there's no harm. But yeah,
you think I could be the next Tolkien? Who knows? Then maybe give it a try.
Yeah, definitely. But let's take a little break and then we'll come back.
Take a break.
Monica can share what she wants to talk about.
Yes, so. Very exciting.
Excellent. Right.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, got an idea for something we should review? Or been thinking of buying something for your D&D collection but the price has put you off? Why not join our Patreon? For just £4 a month, you'll get a say on what content we review, and when we buy something using Patreon contributions, we'll raffle it off to our patrons. So, you'll be in with a chance of winning the thing you wanted us to review anyway. Good, right? So, go find us on Patreon at The Goblins Pockets. And of course, all new supporters get a shout out on the latest episode, because we love you.
We're back. Look, Monica, hit us with that sweet new stuff.
With that new stuff, even though I had a 3, I'm very excited about it. So today I'm talking about a podcast.
Okay.
a relatively new podcast,
Ooh.
actual play podcast called Roll for Romance.
And am I right in thinking I put this in your direction?
You did. You did.
Yeah.
I wonder why. Gender stereotyping. Women must love romance
No,
stuff.
not at all.
I do.
Was,
It's just
I started listening to the first episode because I'm always looking for new things, and I started listening to it, and I thought, I wonder if Monica's into it. And I said, and you were like, yeah, gimme. So
gimme.
I was like, fine, I'll stop listening so that I can get a fresh like review from
fresh
you.
take.
So, yeah.
Because hear me out. I love D&D. I can listen to D&D all day, every day. However, I am very interested in podcasts that have some sort of like different spin that kind of decided to take a particular narrative or a tangent that they decided to run with. And I have a couple that I'm keeping in my sights, but Roll for Romance just caught my eye and I had to start listening. And the premise is these 4 players and their DM just wanted to have a like down and dirty romance novel type of D&D, like the smut that you read. Is it? Do you call it smut? I don't know. I'm Italian.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I think smut's a bit almost degrading, but yeah,
no.
So it's saucy stuff.
Saucy, yes, saucy romance. And they just wanted to like role play with it and see how it goes. And it's an all women cast. Both the DM and the players are all women. The dynamic between them seems to kind of gel in a way that makes me think that they've known each other for a while, either in a professional context or a personal context. Like they know how to record together. The characters have quite a really good variety. Like I like the fact that they seem to have like a good spread of personalities, which I was a little concerned about, because with that kind of premise, you would think that all the characters just came out of like as you say, like a saucy romance or a Danielle Steele novel, but they don't. Like they seem really interesting. I haven't listened to a couple of episodes and I will tell you why. The audio at the very beginning is hard to keep up with.
Yeah, it is pretty rough.
It is rough.
I think there's one of the mics in particular is
just
garbage, and it brings down the rest of the podcast.
Yeah. It just makes it really difficult to follow, because like the quality of the audio makes it difficult to like follow the storyline and what they're saying, and it dampens the interaction a little bit. Far be it from me to be critical. My microphone was a potato at the beginning of the podcast. Like, I get it. Like at the beginning you want to figure out what you're doing.
That's exactly it though. Like the content's there, it's great, it's fun to listen to from the get-go, but like you said, the potato microphone doesn't help. And as you fixed it after a couple of episodes, it seems
have they.
Exactly.
So have they. It seems to me that they have fixed it after, I think, about 5 episodes from what I can gather. So I want to push through the first few episodes because I want to kind of get the full picture, and I want to like get the moment of like excitement when I hear the crisp sound of good microphones and just rejoice with the cast and be like, yay, well done, girls, you did it. But right now it's just a little bit of a slog to get through. I find it quite difficult to stay concentrated, especially because we all do this. We listen to podcasts as we're doing other things. So I need the podcast to keep my attention. However, it's very promising because the setup is very promising. There is a wedding involved, and there are characters with just great sexual tension. Like it's great. Like the setup is wonderful. The DM seems to know what she's doing. Like she seems to have a good understanding of how to make the players feel at ease, which is also something that I was concerned by. A romance D&D game is not easy to run, especially because there are players who are drastically opposed to romance and DMs who don't really know how to handle their players make sweet eyes at them. Like it's weird.
That's an interesting topic. Like, I think it's definitely something that should be talked about before you go dropping romance in it, because I've known DMs try and force it on you as a player, and it can get uncomfortable. But it seems like with this dynamic, they've obviously spoken
had
about
a
it prior
discussion.
to,
They knew what they were signing up
yeah,
for. Like
exactly.
that, it's the premise, it's the whole premise of the podcast.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, what is your take? Like, do you allow romance in your games? Do you forbid romance in your games? Are you just neutral and you see like, let's see where the wind takes you?
Well, funnily enough, last night, so we ran this session 0, and one of the things I give my players the opportunity to do is everyone gets a note, post-it note, and they can write down any topics or things that they do not want, like on a bit of like an anonymous basis.
Love it.
Everyone folds them up, gives them back, and then I can just say, these are the things we won't be discussing. And one of the examples I gave was romance. Like, do you want romance? Like, it was pretty... I actually have a very laid back group and nobody really put anything. The only person who put some things was me. And these are just things that we won't be touching on, but romance wasn't one of them. If you guys want to have a smooch between yourselves, go crazy.
Go crazy.
Yeah.
Who am I to stop your imaginations?
You know, but I try and keep it just not offensive. If that's what you're
basically
into,
that's really the line.
If you, I think it's more likely that a player character will come onto an NPC than an NPC will come onto a player character. Because I don't want to, like, in my group I've got 2 guys, 2 girls. You know, I don't want to be inappropriate. Like, so, you know, you get a feel for it. But I think, again, we talk about podcasts quite often, and there are podcasts that are good examples of, like, this is a great example of a home game that has got a microphone to it. And there are podcasts that are, this is a produced thing that should just be enjoyed as fiction for you to listen to and enjoy. And I get the impression that this is the second one. This is, we have got some fun shit that you probably wouldn't do at home. Have a listen to it.
Exactly. Like, this is we have an idea of something we want to do and it's fun and it's going to make you giggle and it's going to make you like laugh and, you know, enjoy it, because we kind of did this for you guys. And that's why I'm very excited to keep listening. I'm going to hold my mark, my final judgment. Because I feel like the microphone issue like lowered my enjoyment so much that I would be way too harsh on a judgment, and it doesn't deserve it. Like, I want to keep going. They have just released a recap relatively recently, like in the month of June, they released a recap of the first 4 episodes. In the description, it mentions their horrific audio and being like, we get it. Maybe you want to skip through the first episodes and jump into the most recent ones and just kind of know what's going on.
Where the mic's sorted. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I feel like that's a good option if you are having issues like me. But you know, see how it goes. I really like to listen to the first episodes of a podcast because I like to understand how the party gels together. I really like to understand how the DM decides to introduce the characters to one another. Like, it gives me a lot of information, and I actually really enjoy listening to the boring setup that everybody just tends to skip. You know, you were mentioning the like 3-hour introduction of Calamity as being a negative thing. And I was like, but I lived for that.
This is it. So this is where reviews are really useful, or I hope that our reviews are really useful, because I probably wouldn't have listened to Calamity without your review to say, push past that, get through it. And it sounds like this is one of those where it's like,
it is.
Maybe just jump straight in at the recap. If you're saying the only thing that could potentially put you off is the audio quality,
it really is. It really is. Just skip that, and then jump right in episode 5 and see how you feel. They're on episode 23, but from what I understand of the pacing, they are really easy listens. You can just like listen to them, and one way on your schedule. It's just, the episodes are quite manageable and bite-sized. We're not talking Critical Role mammoth episodes. So I'm very excited to keep listening. I'm sorry that it's not a complete review, but I was excited and wanted to share it with you guys. Also because it started in August 2021, which is relatively recent. So, you know, you're still very much in time to jump on and catch up on the episodes. That's my
well, that's it. So. It does seem like it's going to be a really fun ride, and I hope you enjoy it as you go. Go support these guys.
Absolutely, go support Roll for Romance.
Support new niche upcoming things. They're
Yes.
on Instagram, or I think I don't know if they're on anything else. They've got Twitter, they've got Instagram.
Yeah, they've got a webpage that you can go visit with all their information and the links to their podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. It's a nicely done website with all of their social links as well. So yeah, go check them out.
Yeah,
we
awesome.
like them a lot.
And Monica, we'll get a review from you once you've read a bit more. We'll slap it up on Instagram.
I will be like fanning
that.
my face.
Yeah,
like, oh my God, it's so salty.
Maybe that's why you've not listened to it, because it's 30 degrees and it's hot enough.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's too much. It's too much. I need cooler weather for this sort of content, Ian.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, yeah, as always, get in touch with us if you've got ideas of things that you want us to review, or if you've tried something you're like, this is really good, I need to tell people, or if you created something, honestly, let us know. We've had I'm still digesting some stuff. I've had somebody reach out to me recently with a really interesting product that they've created, and once I've had a better chance to digest it, yeah, that's the sort of thing that we are very excited on here. So we're here, we're a platform for you guys to share and let other people know. So yeah,
absolutely,
tell your friends.
Thank you for being here with us, and we look forward to seeing you very soon. Get in touch at our email at thegoblinspockets@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram at the Goblins Pockets, and just see you soon, guys.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Speak to you soon. Bye.